Thank you, Vivek. So for the queries, you can use the chat window and Dhaval will be helping with the moderating, Vivek, right? So as and when queries arise, we'll take logical times and we'll take up the queries. All right.
Right. So, good evening, guys. Thank you for joining this session. So, this is our first Power Platform meetup sessions, which we have started as Dipesh said, and the first city which we selected is Indore, the one of the beautiful city in the center of the India. So today we have Dipesh and Dhaval with us. Dhaval is joining from Indore, and Dipesh, and we are together. So, what is today's agenda? So, see these meetups which we are starting up, they are kind of a technical things which Dipesh has already said. Because lack of time, we might not be getting into the deeper of technical things, how, when, and why. But yes, this is the channel, the D365 champs, which we have built for this purpose only, where you can always join, come up to the question, come up with the questions, take away the solutions, or if you have any ideas, you can share that ideas. We want to keep this particular momentum going on in the future days as well, so that if we want to have a meetups on a frequent basis, say monthly or quarterly, whatever, we can do that. And Dhaval and we are always there for you. Dhaval is there in Indore itself, will be taking care of all the meetup things and how to organize the things. You can also take participate in these particular programs, and we are there to help you out, or if you need any kind of helps, so we are there. So moving on to the Power Platform. What is Power Platform? So you might be hearing more about Power Platform in a nowadays. Earlier, uh, we were more towards Dynamics. Earlier it was CRM, then it became Dynamics 365. There in between, sometimes that it is everything is gonna become as a Microsoft 365. Now that got aside, and suddenly it come up with the Power as a Power Platform as the complete solution. So what we have in our today's agenda is more about what is Power Platform, why uh, we should move or look at the Power Platform as the next coming up thing or the technology. Then we have certain features of Power Platform, which are CDS and connectors overview, then Canvas apps and model driven apps overview of that particular apps, and a little bit about how we can quickly go and create apps with the templates, or if we have to start with from a scratch, how easy it is and to do that. So a basic demo of Power Apps. Uh, Moving to the next slide, what is Power Platform? So what happened with the over the years, because Microsoft is into business applications all these years, all the technologies with that were scattered. Half of them were on the cloud, half of them were on the on-premise solutions. Now Microsoft is bringing all the things on the cloud, so that can be easily accessible, integratable. But beyond that, there were certain limitations which Microsoft was facing in terms of as the services which can be given as a SaaS services. So Power Platform provides most of the SaaS services to the customers, to the users. The another beauty of the Power Platform is it's a low code, or we can say it's a no code platform, where you don't need to be a very much techie or a developer or having a programming knowledge with you. But if you have your ideas, if you have your logics, well defined business processes, so you can quickly go and implement that. So what is with a Power Platform? So Power Platform, if you see above here, there are different Microsoft stacks. Technologies are there like Dynamics 365, Office 365, Azure, your business apps, any other business app that could be ERP or anything. So that all, and all coming up with all that power applications, we can use all these Power Platform components. So there are four major components of your Power Platform. One is Power BI, another is Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. We'll be gradually going through for a few minutes into each of the components. Now, these are just SaaS services which are provided by Microsoft to use and get our work done using these particular components or these SaaS services. What are required things? What are the features which are associated with these things? Are the data connectors? There is a complete AI builder if you want to have some automations or anything to be designed, that AI capabilities. So AI builder is there, and another thing is common data service, which is kind of talk of the town right now, which is a common data service. So based on this, we can use all this, or using these features, we can use Power BI or Power Apps or Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, and design our own business applications or processes, or we can automate our business using this. Now moving to the next thing, what is Power BI? Most of you might have heard about Power BI. It's a reporting tool, and earlier it was actually a reporting tool, but now Microsoft has given it as a SaaS service, which is software as a service on a cloud, where you can have your data coming up through multiple sources. Now that could be a static Excel sheets, it could be SQL Server database, which is into your in-house. It could be a Microsoft Cloud. It could be Azure database. It could be Office 365, or it could be a web browser. Say, sorry. Uh, Anyone is asking something?
Vivek, maybe you can continue. I
Okay,
think
sorry.
there was a disturbance from anyone. Everybody, please be on mute. Okay. Yeah, continue, Vivek.
Yeah, great. Or that data can be coming from your mobile apps or any other solutions you have. Now, what happens with that particular data? So Microsoft the Power BI, that gives you a complete accessibility of this particular data. There can be different connectors which Power BI already has. You can define your own connectors. You can get that data. Microsoft Power BI has its own capability that it can do all the ETL functionals, extract, transform, and then visualize your data into a very good dashboards and all other things, right? So all that ETL capabilities are there. The another beauty of this is, if you want to share this data within the organization, other out of your organization, all that capabilities of sharing your dashboards or your reports that are available with you, and you can do that for your customers or to your users and everything. The another things, you can schedule your data, how frequently it should be uh, refreshed, and how it should look like. That can also happen. You can not only share this data over the website, but you can send that dashboards over the email to the customers, and so on, so forth. So this is one what is with Power BI. We are not going to focus more on this one. Then there is another thing which Microsoft has come up with, a Power Automate. It's nothing but it's a Power Flow, which was earlier there. They have just renamed it to Power Automate. Now, what Power Flow was doing, if you have already worked with Microsoft Dynamics CRM or 365, you must be aware of workflows. So workflows were there to automate some of the characteristics or the processes into your application, like sending out the email or reading the data, updating the data, or deleting the data. All that things where you were able to do through the workflows. Or if any case were there where you have to certain scenarios which Microsoft workflows were not able to do, you used to write a custom workflows for that using .NET code. Now that days are gone. What Microsoft has bring up is the flows or the Power Automate, where you can integrate or connect to your Dynamics 365 instance or to any other outside applications, and automate your business processes using these. So what actually happens, even if you want to trigger on a specific events like create, update, or anything, you have connectors for CDS. If you want to bring data from outside world to this Dynamics, or you want to send it from Dynamics to outside world, you can use that triggers and send out data to that particular location, whichever you want to send it. There, I found a very good example to Power Automate during my study, and this was it. So what was the scenario? There is a need that a customer, they have a list of customers at a different locations, and based when I say locations, now consider them as a different rooms, and in each of the different rooms there are gonna different sessions going on. Now when you want to go and register yourself for a session, there should be a specific QR code for that particular room, and it should automatically select that particular room. So what the scenario build was based on this. So what that particular what we did over here, we created a forms pro form over here. Then we pushed it to Power Automate. Now, what Power Automate did, that Excel sheet which was stored on the OneDrive, it took that particular Excel sheet, it gone through each and every row of that particular Excel sheet, it found out how many locations are there in that particular Excel sheet. Based on that location forms, it has a capability that it can go and duplicate the forms pro forms and define certain parameters, predefined parameters on that particular form. And you can actually go generate the QR code for that particular forms pro form, or that for that particular location. So what it did over here, it actually gone, it considered this particular form template, it selected the Excel sheet from here, and it actually traversed all the way on that particular Excel sheet. It found out how many forms we have to create. Then it duplicated that many forms over there, and it generated QR code. So whenever any user goes or any customer goes and he tries to submit, he'll just scan this particular QR code and he'll find out, okay, for which location that particular submission I have to do. Like it is my room 1, room 2, or room 3. So that like location 1, location 2, for which location I'm planning to go for. So that's how they had done. So all these automations can be done through your Power Automate over here, right? So this is one of the beautiful example. Other than this, if you want to integrate data between your ERP to CRM or to your D365, that you can do, or any other data source, even if it is a CDS, you can do that. So all that capabilities Power Automate provides. There are certain things which are going on that Microsoft might go and discontinue the workflows, and there will be only either flows or Power Automate. That might be your future. So it's better that you can start looking at the Power Flows or the Power Automate as a alternate options, right? Yes, there are certain things attached to flows. That flows and workflows is workflows, you can have unlimited workflows and there is no limitation on the count of workflows that should run. Flows has that kind of limitations, that there with each user you get certain limitations with the number of flows that should run with every user. Yes, but they are enough, I think, for a per day basis or per month basis. So that's how it's with the Power Automate. The another good feature which Microsoft has recently launched, this was actually talked about almost 3 years back when Satya Nadella was giving an Inspire that he is planning to have a virtual agents for the Microsoft customers. So that's where this idea came up with. So now what is Power Virtual Agent in terms of Power Platform? We might only think of having a chatbot with us, that okay, we have a website where we want to put our chatbot where only whenever a person comes and he spends almost few minutes over there, so he'll go and if he spends few seconds, automatically one chatbot comes in front of him and he'll start interacting and the bot gets responses. So this becomes a traditional kind of chatbot feature. But going beyond this particular feature, what Microsoft Power Virtual Agent is giving us is it's not only limited to the website, but what you can do, you can actually use that particular chatbot with your Skype, you can Facebook, or any of your other channels like your Teams or anything. So it's not limited to only the websites where your customers are going. If you want that your social media also should be tracked, or your agents shall be having all that kind of facilities that provided, even if they are on a Facebook, and they shall be able to track or chat with the agents. So all that can be configured for these different uh, channels over here. So as of now, Microsoft has given with us Skype, Facebook, Teams, but in future you might see few more kind of connectors or locations or any kind of social medias coming up with these kind of scenarios, and you can actually go and interact with the Power Virtual Agents. Now the beauty of this is, earlier we used to go and define a complete machine learning or any kind of AI we have to build on behind this particular thing. Now what Microsoft does, you can go and just have a simple kind of chatbots defined where you don't need to have a write any kind of code. Yes, if you want to make it more complex, you want to fetch the data from any other place, like there is a scenario where there is an airline and you want to go and ask for what's my booking status, or I want to check my refund status. So where you'll be putting a booking number in that, some of that scenarios you might have to go and write certain codes to pull out the data and showcase the exact answers to that particular person over the chat. So that in that some of such scenarios you might have to go and write certain code. But other than that, if you have well designed uh, knowledge base with you, or if you have well designed processes with you, or the question answer kind of things you have, or you have well defined keywords that you can configure it without using a single code. So it's just a definition and kind of what should be the responses. Now, going beyond this as a Power Virtual Agent, what Microsoft is giving, you can actually analyze how my virtual agent is behaving. What are the different sources from where I am getting this, and whether I am able to give the exact responses or the correct responses to my customers or not. Now, all that can be given onto your virtual agent analytics. There's a separate dashboard altogether over there, and you can analyze that. You can see which of my medium is doing good, and what are the different you can say terminals are giving me what kind of responses, or where my agent is failing and where I have to work on that particular chatbot, and what are the responses which I have to go and improve. So that way you can go and find out with the keywords as well as the different mediums. Like if say there are more of the responses coming, or the chatbots are coming through Facebook, and my chatbot is not giving the correct answers on the Facebook, you will be able to see that over your uh, analytics page of virtual agent. And that's how it's not only just have kept its uh, position to only chatting. It has given more many things on the Power Virtual Agent. Now moving to the next thing, and the major discussion of today's points are the Power Apps. So what are the Power Apps? So if you have worked, if you are in the industries almost 3 years back, where there if we have to use any of the mobile apps for the Dynamics, we had very limited options for us. Microsoft has given us two types of apps. One was Phone Express, and another was the another app with the Microsoft Dynamics 365 that used to get connected with a single instance. There were no kind of, we can have different apps for that. So Microsoft has come up with another very good feature over here, which is the Power Apps. Now Power Apps has three major sets of type of apps which you can create. One is Canvas app, another is a model driven app, and third is a portal. Earlier, Microsoft has a portal which used to get called as a Dynamics 365 portal. Now that is going gradually get converted into Power App portals, right? So what happens when we go and design these apps? So there are all these apps portals. It's self-explanatory. It's a website which you can design for your users or for your customers. That could be external website for the users, or for your customers. It has its own capabilities. It has its own templates that you can use. Now coming to the apps they have the two types: Canvas apps and model driven apps, where there are significant differences between the two. When it comes to Canvas apps, you can use these certain templates, as I said, and you can start from scratch. There are already 200 plus data sources for the Canvas apps. Now when I say data sources are the same, like you can bring data from any other app. Now for each and every of separate of your screen which you are calling on the Canvas app, you can have a separate data. Like for if you want to have a app which interacts with Dynamics as well as with your ERP. So what you can do, you can have the two different data sets defined, and some information you are seeing from the Dynamics, some information you are seeing from the other app. So that way you can have your different data sources defined, and you can visualize the data. You can now, why we shall go with the Canvas apps? When you have to design an app which has very good visualizations, or you want to design it on your own, you want to place some buttons on the somewhere on the screen, or you want to have your own defined kind of CSS, or you can say as a visualizations, so you can use the Canvas app. But the other side of the app, which is a model driven app, it's totally built on the CDS. You cannot use the external data sources for model driven apps. Now what is CDS? We'll come to that on the next slide. So what happens with model driven app? Model driven app is nothing but it's a kind of replication of what was there into Microsoft Dynamics 365 mobile apps. Okay, so the only thing is you can design the model driven app on the top of CDS, or you can integrate it with your Dynamics 365 as an instance. So you can use both of the things. You can use that one. It can use its own data models which are predefined. If you want to go and enhance the data models, you can always go. We'll talk about data models as well. It has a great UI, but there are very limitations. There are very much limitations onto how UI can be modified or changed as per customer requirements, because it runs on a CDS and it has its fixed set of UI capabilities.
Vivek, sorry to interrupt. We actually have a question from Ravish Chandra. So what he's asking is what licensing we would require to use this Canvas app. So
Okay.
address that.
Great. So licensing, actually I had taken off that section, but I can always come up that. So there are two type of licenses with Power Apps. One is P1, another is P2. Okay. And if you already have the Dynamics 365 with you, you already get the apps with you, Power Apps with you. Okay. Now talking about the app licenses, as I said, P1, P2, it has its significant differences. P1 license, where you can use Power Apps, both the type of apps, Canvas apps as well as modern driven apps, and a Power Portal. The limitations and the difference between is the number of licenses you can, the number of apps you can use with the P1. It's only two, that you can use one Canvas app, one model driven app, and a portal. But if you go with the Power Apps P2 license, it's actually you can use a number of Canvas apps or a number of model driven apps. So there is no limitation to that. Okay. Now these are the two type of licensings which we have. One is for $10, which one is P1, where you can use only limited license, limited apps. P2, which is almost a $40 license, where you can use a number of apps per user. There is another good amount of difference on the licensing is how much data we get with this particular Power Apps. Now, when it comes to a Canvas app and it has external data source, so there is no data limit as such, but yes, it is applicable to your model driven app because it uses CDS entities. If it is only Power App licenses, so it has that 40 MB space limit for P1 model driven apps, and for P2 it's 250 MB as a data size which a user can have. So these are the two licenses which you can have on the apps.
Just to add to, I know Vivek is a big time expert on licensing. Just to add on licensing, every first of the month, Microsoft puts a licensing guide out there. It's a big document for Power Platform also, right, Vivek? So yeah. I think it is natural. Whatever he's saying is relevant till this point. We come after some time, and July 1, you have to again go back and research it, right? That is the true thing. Even if you ask from Microsoft, you ask from anybody, that is also one point that I would just want to mention, especially for licensing.
Yes. So licensing is something as a big challenging area where you might not be, means certain things are there which are not gonna change. Like with P1, you will get only few apps, and with P2 you will get unlimited apps. Other than that, certain things might go and change, like the space which you get with each of the type of apps or the data connectors. Now there are certain things that which kind of data connectors can be used, which type of data connectors cannot be used. That are again, there are some connectors, and when it comes to actually use a flow, if you want to automate certain of the things, so yes, that also are there. So means you have to look at the licensing guide. If it has been almost a month or 2 months, you have not last read it, you can always go and check with the latest licensing guide, right? Okay, so this was about the Canvas apps and model-driven apps. Portals are actually the external facing websites that are exposed for either to the customers or to the your internal users of your organization or to the employees. Okay, you can have different ways of having authentications. You can use and build your own authentication models over here. If you don't want to go and use the Azure authentication model, you can have your extra authentication model. That options are there over there, and you can go and design it that particular website to your extent. You have the options of using the liquid templates or and other things so that you can beautify your website. So that was there with Power Apps in the Canvas app. Okay. Now, what is the difference between Canvas app and model driven app? When you should go and use the Canvas app, when you should go and use the model driven app? The major difference is Canvas app, you can go and build it to any level, but what Microsoft says, instead of going and building a longer process onto Canvas app, it's always better that you should focus on a small piece of apps and design a small kind of functionalities for your users. Like you shall go and design only means if you want to have a app for HR management. So instead of having all the HR management facilities into that particular app, you design only attendance as a short part. You have to design only as a expense management as another app, rather having all that different departments or functionalities or the processes in one particular app. You go break your processes into smaller apps and use Canvas apps for that. But in other side of the apps, which is model driven, it's specifically designed to have a kind of predefined processes, and if you have a processes defined, you can use the model driven apps because it's based on the CDS, and you can use most of the features which Dynamics 365 allows you to use. You can use that into your model driven apps. Okay, the other thing, if you are actually focused on, this was the one criteria which Microsoft says, if you want to use that apps for this purpose, they should be used. Now, if you want to have very intuitive UI on your app and you want to have so many of colors and images and everything to be put over there, or the buttons and so many things onto your app, you should go for Canvas apps because that cannot be done to your model driven app. Model driven app has a very limited UI capabilities in terms of changing the colors and other things. So whatever themes or colors combinations available, that can be used only with the model driven app. But Canvas app, it's a complete app package. Like the things you can do with the Android apps or iOS apps, that you can do with the Canvas apps. Not to that extent, yes, obviously, but yes, if you want to kind of have a very intuitive apps, you can use Canvas apps.
Vivek, we have one more question from Kiran. She is asking that, could you please give a little bit detail about what is CDS and how it
Yes,
function and the data source.
yes.
So,
I'll give that. So I'll just finish up this quickly, and I'll get into CDS
sure,
then.
sure,
Okay.
sure, sure. Yes.
Right. So that's the next slide. Don't worry on that. So when you want to drag and drop, like I said, if you want to have, you want to place your controls wherever you want, then you should go and use the Canvas apps, model driven apps. It has fixed. You have to go and design it in a way it allows you to. You can, the another differentiation which I had already told, you can pull data over 200 data integration sources which are available, 250 plus actually now. And but with the Power Apps model driven app, it has either CDS or you can connect it with the Dynamics 365 as a data source. Responsive by design and not responsive by design means when you are going and designing the app in a Canvas app, you have to define for what format of screen you want to design it, whether it is for a tablet, for it is for web, or it is for a mobile. So what format you want to design, that you have to be specific, and certain times if that it is a random screen size, you might have to go and change it for a specific size, these things. But model driven apps, they are actually responsive by their design. You have to just design one app and it works across the different areas. This one I have already said that task based and role based applications, you can use Canvas app, and if it is end to end business processes you have to configure, you can use the model driven apps. Okay, there are for both there are different templates available. You can use them, you can customize them as and when you want. Right, so the last one, not all business rules actions are available for Canvas apps, like show hide fields and disable fields that you have to do on your intelligence, as you said. But with the model driven apps, as I said, all that actions which we can do onto our Dynamics 365 apps, that all can be done your model driven apps. So because it's using the same kind of platform, the CDS or Dynamics 365. So what is CDS and what are the connectors? So what is CDS? So before CDS, I want to give you about history of how CDS came into picture, or how it gets over there. So what Microsoft is doing over these years, Microsoft has a very good partner network, and not every partner is only doing sales service kind of implementations. So Microsoft has deployed the applications or the Dynamics applications across the varieties of industries, say manufacturing or retail or banking or FMCG, and you just name it, and there we will find the Dynamics implementations. So what happens with these kind of implementations? These partners, they have already built their data models for that particular implementations. Like for manufacturing, they have already used all the things which are required for warehousing or manufacturing processes, or anything they want to track into that particular business processes. That models are already present with us. Same for retail, same for banking, and all that things are there. So that are called as data models. Now what Microsoft did, Microsoft bring that all CDMs which are called as the common data models and put it into CDS, so that it is your CDS, common data source. So all these models, so what CDS is actually, you will find almost different industries, like your assets, your warehouses, your tickets or payments, or all these entities can be seen into your CDS. So all these data models are brought into a single place, so that can be used by your apps. That could be a Canvas app or your model driven app. So these are your CDS. So getting into CDS, so this is how it actually looks like. So this, in the center, you'll find this as a CDS. And what models? So these are different models. Like this is your operations, Dynamics 365 operations, finance and operations. They have their own complete data models or entities. When I say data models, actually they are in technical terms, you can consider them as a tables, or if you're very familiar with Dynamics terminology, is the entities. So all that entity structures or that table structures, what Microsoft has done, that they have already added to the CDS, from operations, customer engagement. If any apps are there on is Azure, like their Azure data structure or group structure or anything. If it is Office 365, all the mails, tasks, and all different kinds of activities that can be done, or the calendars that are there, or any other apps which Microsoft has earlier worked, or any ISVs who has created this kind of structures. So Microsoft has brought them into CDS, and it's a never ending process. So Microsoft is introducing so many of the data structures or data models into CDS, so that you can use it easily. Now what it does over here, you can go and design your apps based on all these kind of different models which are currently present with you into your CDS. So if you go into CDS by any chance, you will find there are a list of entities there you might not have seen only with Dynamics customer engagement, but there are entities which are coming from your ERP or from any other different banking domains. Like earlier there was no kind of, say, entities with the transactions or any other industries. You can find them like warehouse or any other things, you can find them over there, right? So that is the CDS, and that's how it has born. So hope the you get the answer, Kiran, right? Now this is what about we have into CDS. Now, what different connectors we have? As I said, there are 250 plus connectors which we have when we want to use it with our apps. If there is any connector which is not available, you still have option that you can go and build your own connector. You can design your own connector and use that connector to bring out the data. Certain applications which you might have into your in-house, you can always go and design a connector for that, and you can bring that data model into your apps and that we can use. So you will find almost all these, even if there are competitor sites or applications or SaaS services, you will find the connectors for them, and you can use that particular connectors. Even you will find that there is a Power BI as a connector, so that you can bring and show your Power BI report into your Power App, whichever app you are designing. So all that things can be used. So the majorly connectors which we generally use is SharePoint or Dynamics 365 or CDS or Power Apps or Azure, you can say Azure DB, that all we can use. Other than that, if you want to bring some data from Salesforce, because if customer is using Salesforce with Dynamics 365, we can have that combination of data into your app, right?
Vivek, we have one more question from Gopinath. So maybe Gopinath, can you just unmute yourself, and if you don't mind, you can ask your question. Okay.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. Hey Vivek, so the
Hi.
question is simple actually. If I have the Canvas app, as you were
Mhm.
mentioning, right? We have a lot of data sources and a lot of other things with Canvas apps, right?
Right.
So if I wanted to map a query, so for example, let's say if I wanted to run a query and
Mhm.
get the details and show it on a Canvas app, is it really
Right.
possible to do that?
Okay. Now, when you say query, so you
Mm.
can write certain filters. Okay, so that filters you can always show, you can write into the Canvas app. Okay, so when you show it on a list, you can have that filters applied to that particular list or data which you are seeing. But yes, there are certain limitations because it's not that easy that you can add the filters. There are limitations that you can actually go and have filters with I think two or three joins, not more than that. So if it is really a complex kind of query,
Mhm.
so Canvas app might not support that. But yeah, we have done certain of the apps where we want to filter out the data based on which person is logged in. Okay,
Yeah,
so
even those things I know. The filter option, yes, I have already explored it. But just thinking, if you know any other option of not filtering and running a query, that's it.
no, in that case, otherwise you have to go and use the different views if you have your custom data source. So I'll
Mhm.
advise you to have your views defined in that way that it will only show the specific data for that particular users. Other than that, it's only filters with the Canvas apps,
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, thanks.
right? Okay, so these are the different Power Apps connectors which we have over here, and you can use any of them as and when you want. So we'll quickly get into demo what it's not a demo. We already have only 13 minutes left, but how quickly you can go and create an app and run it over there. I'll quickly go and share my screen over here again.
Vivek, we were having screen sharing on, and I was at least able to see the presentation while you were discussing. So there is a comment in the window there saying that the screen was not visible during the particular presentation. That's not the case. And the other thing about recordings, anything that happens at CHAMS is always shared through all possible mediums. So you'll find recording as well through all possible mediums. You can go ahead, Vivek. Sorry.
Yeah, right. So you must be knowing that to have a Power Apps, and if you want to really see what CDS provides or what kind of capabilities we have, so instead of going to trial for Dynamics 365 and from there using the apps, I'll suggest you instead of going there, you just go for Power Apps trial. If you are not able to sign up with your work email ID, what you can quickly go and do, you sign up for E3 or E5 trial, and from there you get Power App licenses which are P2. P1 licenses you cannot go get for a trial, and you cannot really try them, and that's where the major blind spot almost all the customers or the users has. Even we have certain areas that what we exactly get with the P1 licenses, as with the trial we only get P2 licenses. So this is one of my trial which I have with me, right? So as I said, we can always go and create three different type of apps: Canvas app, model driven app, or portal from here, and you will see all the templates over here. So if I click on the templates, see, these are some of the data sources which you can create, or if you want to go and see all the data sources, just click over there and it will give you a list of all the data sources. You have to just use that data sources into your connections, or you can define them over here, right? So the other templates which we already available or Microsoft is building, or there are certain partners who are continuously working on the different apps, and they are publishing their apps for the free of use or as a templates, so that you can use. So these are some of the portal templates, these are the Canvas app templates, and you can quickly start your application using these particular apps. So I'll quickly show how you can quickly go and start with the default template app. So I'll use this one, help desk app. I'll keep the name as this demo. I create this particular app. So you will find certain apps. There are so many apps which are real logical, are a real use case for the business cases, and that you can use over here. So it will take certain time to get it set over there. If you don't want, you can actually start your app from scratch, from the blank app, and you can design your own app over here. So it's almost there. It will ask for certain permissions. By the time it works, what we'll do, we'll start creating a app from a scratch. I'll start with the Canvas app. You must model driven app are that easy. So what you can quickly go, I'll create a, so here it asks me for which type of format you want to use, whether tablet or phone format. So I'll say it's a phone format. I'll say app 1 and the create one. Now I'll not use any other data source because we have a limited time and we have to just see how quickly we can go and design the app or develop the app. So you quickly go, you created this particular app and it came to you as a designer page over here. Now you can say, okay, this is my screen, first screen, what I want to actually do with this. So you can quickly go and insert different things over here, right? So you can say, I want to have a new screen. There also you have different templates. So I'll say I want to put a list over here quickly. So it will automatically add a list over here. Okay, now when I click on this particular list, it will ask me which data source you want to use, whether you want to show account contacts, because by default it goes to the data CDS, or if you want to use any other connectors, we have all these options over here. You will see this is a premium, and which for that you should have a specific type of licenses that you can use, right? So you can use, I'll quickly say I want to use the contacts over here for this particular list. Okay, and you'll see there is some data, dummy data already available with CDS, so that it will show it over here. And I can quickly go, I don't want to have a title over here. I will say contacts. That's designed over here. You go and change over here. Now how quickly I can go and create, I want to see this particular contact details to be shown on the form. How easy it is. It's pretty easy. By default, Microsoft, when it comes to the templates or some certain default data sources, so it has already designed certain things. So you'll see this is a next as a button added over here. Before that, what I have to do, I have to add another screen where I can quickly go and see the details of my customer or my contact. I can say this is the form. I created a new form over here, and I have to just connect to a data, which I can see as a contact. I want to use it a contact only, so I'll select the data source from here as a contact. By default, there are certain design things which Microsoft has already given that it will show you these fields. if you want to go and add certain of the fields, you can quickly go and add the fields over here. Like I'll say I want to have first name, I want to have a last name, I selected these, I added these, and then that's done. It's not that cumbersome as well if you want to actually go and change the positions. So you can actually go drag and drop where you want to put them. I want to put it over here, just below the last name, first name. Okay. I don't want this full name over here, just delete. So all that options you have. You want to quickly add button over here. So you can say, okay, add a button. So all that options you have. If you want to add a label, you want to add a button or anything, you can always go and add that one over here. Like if I, okay, so this is again another button over here only. Okay, so you can add that. Okay, this is what is defined. Now if I go and quickly run this particular app over here from my screen one, I can test this by running this app here itself. So if I click over here, it's not going anywhere, right? Because we have not given any instructions. There are default things which Microsoft has given, like you can go and say on select, I want to navigate to a specific page or a screen. I'll say screen 3 is that one, and that's done. Now I'll quickly go and see what it works there. So I clicked over here, it took me to screen 3, but there is no data because we have not mentioned what it should happen with that particular data. Even this close button, that is not working. After I close, it should go to the previous screen. So what we can quickly go and do over here, I'll select this back button. I'll first say on select, it should go back. That's done. I defined it over here. I'll quickly go to screen 2 and here I have to say, okay, navigate, it is there. And what data should be seen into screen 3? Okay, I will select this particular app over here into advanced, into my item. I will say what is my gallery name? Okay, browse gallery 1 dot selected. So if you see over here, Microsoft actually gives you what kind of options or what kind of functions or kind of things you can use to automate your things. So here, when I clicked over the browse gallery, it automatically gave me the selected option over here, so that I come to know what kind of options I have available with me, right? So I can quickly go and say, now I want to run this app from start. I'll quickly go and run this app now. When I go and click over here, see this automatically come over here. If I click onto this one, it will take me to the back. So this quickly you can go and do your small apps, like if there are 2-3 windows and you want to play around with the data. Even if you want to go and have the editable form over here, you can go and edit and you can store that particular data. Certain fields, if you want that they should be disabled for all the time, you can have that, you can use that all that properties to make them disabled or anything. But there are certain things like you want to have that fields disabled on certain kind of criteria, like we can use into our normal mobile scripts, like if this data is available, then don't make this disable on a runtime. So that capabilities doesn't come up with your Canvas apps, and for that you should go with the model driven apps. So this is how you can quickly go and create your app. Or we'll quickly see sign in, create, and that's how quickly you can go and use any of the template and you start using your apps.
Vivek,
Yep.
I think
Yeah, so
are there any slides further?
no, this is the last one, and we can open up with the
questions.
questions
Yes.
if you have.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe guys, you can like ask questions if you have any. So we'll we already are running short of time, but we'll take it up for like one or two questions if you guys have. So yeah, feel free to ask.
Now, so Dhaval, most of the events we are always short of time, but that is the true sharing, right? We need
Actually,
to. So if there are any
Right.
if there are any queries, we will take it up now. While I don't think the screen sharing is working too.
No, I have not shared the screen sharing. So I'm just quickly going to share the presentation again.
So thank you, Vivek. I think it is a tremendous job to take and showcase everything on a Canva app within less than 15 minutes, right? And show the real true capability. So it is one of the first time in any of the sessions I am able to see that at effect. So thank you for sharing that.
So guys, you can
so
connect us over the credentials given on the screen. You can anytime connect. Don't need to be hesitated on that. Again, we have different channels for champs. We have a Kaizala group. We also have our we have also LinkedIn page for us. You can follow us over there. There are so many events which we regularly do. Like these meetups we have started from the Indore. It is going to reach to most of the countries in the India very soon. Okay, and we'll surely try to meet you in person whenever we are into Indore. Currently, time is not permitting. Just for your info, Dipesh is from Indore itself, and that's where we started these meetups from Indore. And whenever time permits, whenever we are traveling, we always go and put that we are in the city and we want to have a meetup over there. So if you are free, please come meet us. You can share your views. If you have any queries or if you want to share any of your experiences, please feel free to connect.
I I also want to add to what Vivek is mentioning, like all the guest joinees, please do join the Kaizala group because I see a lot of questions are being asked on that group, and I mean eventually you get to learn and to resolve any other person's issue as well. So I would like to request everybody to join that group. And yes, so Vivek, we have Ravish. Maybe you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Yeah, I mean, I think Dipesh has replied.
Thank you, Vivek.
Yeah,
So basically, I just want to ask you, like, you displayed one form. So can we use any lookup field over there,
Okay,
like
so there are
we do in CRM?
yes, so there are certain limitations what kind of controls we can use into Canvas apps. Okay, so as I showed, there are certain limitations. Like if you have a lookup, it will show currently into a drop-down list over here. Microsoft, I don't think Microsoft has given any capabilities to design your own controls
so
as of now.
Okay.
so that will require workaround, but we can. That's what I meant. In
Yes.
the context of this discussion, it might take too long because we
Yeah.
are just focusing on basics of this particular one. However, you can, right? We have enabled
Yeah.
the scenario, but if really the lot of lookups or those kind of requirements are there, I will go for model-driven apps, right? My decision making should be, based on what is the requirement. So that's all, right? And just to add to whatever Vivek and Dhaval were saying about, and we had more leads connecting, and basically we had people connecting from so many countries today, right? We are in the process of upgrading the group as well. So that is just a temporary transition. We were looking for some bandwidth in terms of effort, sponsors, etc. Right? So there will be a very much improved searching experience for your queries, blogs, and other things that is coming very, very soon, right? For
Yes.
Champs. And that's also something, if you have been regularly attending the event, it has been a transition journey, right? So let's continue the learning and you'll be seeing those upgrades coming by July. That's our expectation for sharing those upgrades to the community.
Right. Just to add to what I earlier said, if you look at the Champs website right now, so you'll find almost there are 10 to 15 MVPs are already there on the Champs, and they are always available for your queries or your resolutions. Okay, all the MVPs, they are not only from India, they are from across the geography of the world. Okay, and they are into multiple, you can say, time zones. So don't say that, don't feel that if you are putting any queries on the midnight, do that. So someone will be there to at least respond your.
So yeah, that's a champ fact. 95%, close to 95% of the queries in the last month, and I maintain the statistics myself, have been answered, right? There has been a response and resolution to 90% of the queries. Those are great numbers, right? So a lot of people with their own mutual interests are contributing. You can also join the journey. And if you have any feedback, if you have any of the things to share in terms of feedback, you can definitely to share feedback with Vivek as well. Like his credentials are here. He's one of the community leads. You can share it to Dhaval. He's the organizer for this particular meetup. You can in person share to me. You know the channels, and same way you can continue on. We will continue with meetups. You will see further announcements coming for other cities. The idea is to connect in both possible ways, right? And keep learning and feel positive about the current time. All right. So if there are any queries, please let us be aware. Or otherwise, thank you, Vivek, for your session. First of all,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of effort to prepare these. I am well aware. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vivek, for your time, and thank you everyone for connecting. And like hope you all be joining in the next meetups as well. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for connecting.